morning, you heathens, and welcome back to City Skylines. So, in this episode, I've decided that I wanted to focus more on parks. Not just this park, but all the parks. I wanted to get our park levels through the roof. I wanted to finish our little park path that we have going on. And I think to start off with, we're going to simply just fix this park. If you remember in earlier episodes, this park was meant to be a thoroughfare for pedestrians to be able to walk across and around the edge of the water and stuff like that. I want to have this path go all the way around the city right here. All the way over to this road, and then probably have something built over here that will give access over to this little tourist district eventually over here. I also wanted to extend the path down this way and eventually turn this into a massive park. I think that I want this to be quite large for what it's going to present, and if we have time we might start laying down the foundations of that. But for now, what I'm going to focus on is our little pedestrian path. So in the last episode we added the ability to add mods and stuff like that, which means that we can put these little crosswalks right here. But before we do that, I wanted to go in and actually fix my connections for this park, because I don't have a connection that connects right here. I should really fix that. So I'm going to go ahead and put us into a brief time lapse where you'll just see everything get fixed. Alright, so we have officially gone in and fixed our little path right here. There are some areas that I do plan on coming back into and cleaning up later, like this right here needs to be fixed. But I'm not focusing on details right now. I want to get the base down and then detail as we go. So, now that we have this connection, we're going to start extending this across here. And I wanted to go ahead and do this. So, this isn't going to be a park per se, this is just going to be a pathway. So I don't have to make a park area for every single section. So what I can do is I can go ahead and get this the way that I want it. And then do that right there. And that is exactly what I was hoping for. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move it. Yeah, it won't connect it to... Oh, maybe it will. I don't know that it likes that. Let's go ahead and bring that down a little bit. Okay. Instead of that, why don't I bring this down? Yeah, and then I can do this. Have the connection that doesn't look that good, but again, we can tweak that afterwards. But now we have a connection there, so what we want to do, we're going to go in and add a crossing here using our node controller, which should be this right here, instead of crossing node. Perfect. So now we have a node there, connected to this path right here. And then I'm thinking that this is a bit small for a path. So maybe the cross here, path picks up over here. It'll be a bit tight, but not the worst thing in the world. So let me go ahead and get another path. Put it right here. Do something like this. Right there. And then all these are a bit weirdly staggered, but honestly I kind of like that. I think I'm going to keep it that way. We have the connection right here, which means that this path goes into this road, which we can actually go in and upgrade this road to have more sidewalk. So I can do something like that, give it a bit more walking area. Then it goes to this path right here. And then, I believe this is going to be its own park with the cemetery and everything. So, yeah. We'll go ahead and get a park area set up. and then go from there. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint the park area real quick, and then I'll bring you right back in after I do that. Park area has been painted in. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this right here. We're gonna put a side gate over here. I'm gonna put it, yeah, I'll put it right here because that makes the most sense. And finally, we'll put another one here. And with my pedestrian highway that I do want to eventually implement, I think another one right here wouldn't go amiss. Yeah, right there would be just fine. Now let's go in and add the connections everywhere. Now this one's a bit weird, but I don't really think I care about making money, because I think this will end up actually causing people just to sneak in, essentially. That's okay. I think that parks aren't meant to be monetized. Well, they're meant to be monetized, but I think that there's an argument to be made where this particular path is meant for people to use as a thoroughfare. Let's go in and add our connections. Let me actually turn stuff on. Go ahead and make our connections like this. This path is now implemented. People are actually already using it, which is kind of nice. I need to go in and add a fence around it, just because I do think that the fences make it feel a bit nicer. So I found the best way to actually place fences when you're struggling to do stuff like this is to turn off all guidelines and just approximate it. And if you have troubles with it, you can always go in and use move it if you have it. But this way, I can kind of hug the road a little bit and just kind of slowly work my way around. So now we have the park area defined. We can always go in and detail, but we're not detailing quite yet. We are going to go ahead and build ourselves another little path crossing here. Let's add another node right here. Make it a crossing, and then use move it to get it a little bit more centered. And if I knew how to do like a raised crossing, I would, but I'm not quite sure how to do that, and I'm not trying to download a mod specifically for it. I think that for the sake of today and getting this path set up, this will work just fine. Actually, this highway is a very stressful highway. They might not have a crossing here, so it might go into here and split off this way, and then I could make it go into this park, which again, the park is going to help with this because there's going to be connectors from here all the way over to this side where everyone's trying to go. But as you can see now, we have outlined our little area right here. I'm actually going to go in and tweak this a little bit. I think that this is a little janky, so we'll do something like that, and then we can move that over. That feels a little bit better than what was there. But now they have this whole pathway they can walk across. We're gonna go ahead and do the same thing over on this side, just getting it butted up to where that central park is gonna be. I don't know that we're going to touch on the park today. That is quite a big project. It'll probably have its own episode. But we'll go in and add a crossing right here. We'll go ahead and add pathing, same way that we have been. So this path that I'm making right now is actually just the bare bones of it. I do intend on adding more connections. For instance, right here would be a connection, just because you do want as many connections as possible for these places that people are going to use this road a lot. I want to go ahead and continue on this path right here. We'll just go ahead and build a path right next to it. So, as you can see, it does have these weird awkward places, but with the Move It mod, I can just kind of move this over to where I want it. So we'll put it right there. Then we'll do the same thing over here, and it cleans up that little pathway nicely. I'll do it again right here, and right here. So now we have that little pathway there. And as you can see, this is already getting tons of usage because it is a bit more beautiful than just walking on the side of the road. So as you can see, a lot of people are choosing to walk to work over here, and that park is just going to make a really solid connection between this, meaning that they don't have to walk as far. I also think that I want to add a pedestrian highway, which all a pedestrian highway is it's a path that your Sims can walk instead of drive or bike. I do want to go ahead and add intersections to all these junctions right here, but we're not quite there yet. Let's go ahead and upgrade this road right here, just because we do have a lot of pedestrians walking on it. I think that where we have pedestrians walking is a good place to have good walkability. Nobody wants to walk on a dirt road, they'd rather have sidewalks. And we can give them that, just like that. And on top of that, since this is surrounding the park, it wouldn't hurt to have pretty roads. This right here is not going to have any parking anyways, so we'll do something like that. And let's add greenery here. Alright, so we do have the infrastructure set up for this to become a more tourist-heavy district. So what I'm going to do then, I'll place one of these down. It needs a connection. I think it needs a road, which is unfortunate. I was really hoping that it wouldn't. Okay, so yeah, that little road connection. I wish it didn't have to be a road. Wish I could just have a path walking over to it, but I guess for safety purposes there has to be a path. But now we have this fishing pier, which is quite tall, honestly, but scale of stuff is going to be a bit janky for sure. Let's go ahead and add a path. See if I can't get something down into the beach. Oh, I didn't want that. Wait, I want to undo it. I think I just lost that forever, didn't I? Oh man, I lost the rocks. Okay, that's fine. Biffa would be upset, but it's fine. We'll make it up for... We'll make that up eventually. Alright, so I've added a outline path along the beach area. Now we're gonna make some connections really quick, just to go along with our desire to make this a bit more tourist heavy. Having these connections will help with that for sure. And then we'll add another one right here. What we can do now is I can actually go in and zone this little area with some... I wonder if I should do some heavy commercial. Is that a bad idea? I have no idea. I'm gonna give it a shot. I want to see how it looks, honestly. So we'll add these little connections. So we'll let the high density commercial zone there. And then I wonder what I can add here. I don't know if there's beach paths and stuff like that. I know that there's the nature reserve paths, which might work for just getting down into the beach. Doing something like this. Go down into the beach. Does that look weird? It looks a little bit weird, but I kind of like it, I guess. And we'll do another one right here. Try it. I don't know what to add to this beach area. So I've made the decision. What I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out how to make this a realistic beach in a later episode. But for now, I think that this shows off the beach design quite nicely. Alright, with our sim highway running around the city, I think that it's time that we go in and start decorating it a little bit. Obviously, in these bigger areas, even though I'm not turning them into their own dedicated parks, I just want some choice parks on each of the sides, which I think there's going to be more tourist districts over here, so I don't have to worry about parks and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and make some more connections here using our roads. I think this parkway is going to have to be custom built. Now thinking about it, it doesn't make sense for me to mix assets that aren't going to match. So we'll do something like that. And then we'll do something like this. I still think there should be a path here. I just don't know that I can make a small one. What if I do something like this? And then use move it to move things around. And then I just connect this like this. Okay. That's not unreasonable. We should definitely add a connection here. So we'll add a connector there. Then we can also add a connector here. And those are comfortable connections for sure. So I've added the exterior here. We need to add a lot more decorations and stuff like that. This can slowly start having stuff added. We should add some restrooms over here. Didn't even think about that. Oh, does that fit perfectly? That fits perfectly. I love that. Okay. Add another bathroom over here. And then we can add an info booth right over here. Entertainment's fine. We just gotta get visitor levels up now. Okay, perfect. This connection right here goes all the way through here. So obviously they're not going to have to walk all the way around. But we do want to add points of interest over here to make this area more desirable. I've made a decision. I'm going to go ahead and make this park's outline. I'm going to name it Central Park. Very original, I know. But if you have a better name, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I'll go ahead and take a look and maybe that's what we name it. Go ahead and add the main gate. I want to put it right here. I think we'll do... Yeah, I think we'll do right here. Gives me a little bit of space for this, which is going to have its own issues to deal with. And then let's add the side gates exactly where we want them. So we'll put one here. We'll put one here. Put one here. There we go. For later in the build, we'll add another one over here, because we do plan on extending stuff out over here. And then we'll add another one right here. We need to add one here. Forgot about that. So pause. We'll go in and remove this connection right here. We'll go ahead and just add it back to the park for now. It's not ideal, but until I get a more sensible power issue created, that is going to be the best for now. So we have all the connections that I wanted to add. Now we just have to add the pathing. So I'm going to go in and grab the only path that I've been using, which is this little park path with decorations. And let's start to go ham. Because why not, you know? So we know that we want that to come out this way. I want this to wrap around this park, or this little rock structure that we got going on. So I'll do something like this. So there's that. Go ahead and make the connection right here. Perfect. We will branch off a connection over this way, which I think will come off here. Then the topography of this is going to be quite challenging to respect. So before I tackle that, let me go ahead and make some more connections over here. Oh? Why is that going to a bridge? Grab this page up. See if that will help the situation any. Maybe now it won't. Why is it wanting to do a bridge? Okay. There's that. That was a bit dumb, but whatever. We'll add the connection right here. And then I'm also going to add a connection back here, I think. One thing about these paths, by the way, is that these are not the finished decision. I do intend on going back through and remaking some of this stuff the way that I actually want it to be. So I want to go ahead and respect terrain height for this next bit because it'll be kind of challenging to get this to feel comfortable. Because this hill is quite large, getting it to not break essentially and poses quite the challenge actually. And so we'll do something like this. Starting to break a little bit. Go down. Now this connection here is just going to be bad because of how much terrain it has to cut through. It's quite a large hike, essentially. This is going to be an easier connection for people compared to having to go this way. And so this park's already being used to a pretty solid potential. Alright, so let's add some amenities to this. I want to add a cafe. Let's add restrooms first, all over the park. We'll add one here. Should we add one at each of the entrances? Is that a bit too extra? I don't know. Did I miss? I missed a connection. I figured that was going to happen. It was sort of inevitable. We'll do that. Perfect. Let's add a restroom there. Alright, there's that. We'll add a restroom over here. And we'll add a restroom right here somewhere. Maybe I'll add it at this intersection right here. It's gonna mess with the train height a little bit, but this is a restroom there. Add another restroom there. And then I want to add cafes to this main area. So maybe we'll have a cafe there. And those need water. Oops. Let me add water to stuff, I guess. That would make a lot more sense. Since I actually went in and added all the water lines, which means that now everything should have water. Power is a different story, but we can always figure that out later. I wanted to put this park. Let's put this plaza here. That actually messes the brain up a little bit. Let's see. This is already central. This is already level 2. Perfect. Let's go in and add some more amenities. Why not? Just for fun. We'll add a little a park chessboard area right there. Add an info booth over here. I do think a park this massive would have a lot of these amenities that I'm adding. Just because I do think something this big would have a lot of time and dedication, essentially. They would go in and add so much stuff to this. In fact, I have not added enough stuff, but also trying to figure out what I want to add and where. Wow, that's a lot of people. That's actually really cool. I can actually go in and change policies here, and this is main park for sure. And what else do I want to add? Yeah, I guess advertisement campaigns, because this will be such a big park. So, I might have gotten a little bit distracted. You see, the purpose of today's episode was to make park connections everywhere. And so, I need to continue on with that before I start decorating this park more. Luckily, it does have plenty of entertainment value, which means that I will be unlocking more assets to go in here, and probably making my own at some point in time, and smoothing that out, stuff like that. But I want to go in and make the connections a bit more worthwhile. I want my Sims to have their own dedicated walking path, essentially, around the highway. With that being said though, I do need to go in and tweak this and add the intersections proper to the highway. So first things first is I'm going to go ahead and delete this road. Let's take our 2-lane road. Let's remove all zoning on this because this is highway stuff anyways. So what I've gone ahead and done is I've gone onto all of these roads that are connected to the highway and removed any zoning from them. I don't want zoning to exist on these connections at all, just because this might make sense, but I don't want it, right? And I think that with how disruptive highways are anyways, it might be worth considering not having any zoning at all, and maybe figuring out something else that might not mimic the real world in a future thing. But for now, I want to go ahead and go in, and I think my step is just fine. So let me do 3, go up by 9, do this connection right here, then go down, and do it as well here. So now we have that elevated, and we can do the same thing that we did over here. Actually, this one might just be an over, and I might have another highway connection here. So let me go in and move this. Same thing as last time. Go up by 9. Go in and do this right here. Go down. Go down. And let's make the on and off ramps using our highways. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do something like this, which I do want to go in and eventually make these look a little bit better, but functionality wise these will do just fine, albeit looking a little worse than I would want. So there's that. And then another thing that I want to do is I want to go in and respect lane mathematics and do this. So we do have some power line issues, which I think now that we're here and we're redoing the highways, we might as well just go in and redo this power line down the middle. So let's go in and add a power line following the highway, make sure all my stuff is off, perfect. Alright, so I've gone in and I've put the power line on the side like this. Next thing I want to do is I want to add the pedestrian highway that I wanted to do. I'm thinking what I want to do is I'll have the pedestrian path go underneath the roads, because I might just have a bus route go right down the middle. I think that the bus route would make more sense. And so I wonder, I'm gonna play around with something real quick just because I want to see how it goes. I don't think I'm allowed to have tunnels for pedestrian roads, which really puts a damper into the plan that I have. These connections are a little janky. I think there are some things that should be a little bit less messy. I feel as though that feels a little bit cleaner. Straighten that out a little bit. The connection there, and then this winds all the way over here. We can add a connection here, going to this little right there, and then same thing over here. We go up 2, preferably if I can. Sometimes it'll let me. might not let me. I do have anarchy on right now just because I'm trying to get this figured out. But I might go ahead and turn off anarchy for a second. And so unfortunately I think that I'm just going to have to bite the bullet on not having the realism that I want. Just have these pedestrian highways be tall, way too tall for any pedestrian. But at least they're there, right? Let's go ahead and make this connection right here. What is that? How did that happen? Okay, well, let's fix that. Okay, let's try that again. So, that is the pedestrian highway. I do want to go in and obviously tweak some of these things. One of the big things I wanted to start trying to tweak was adding some of these sound barriers, which would make a lot more sense in this regard, especially with how close it is to the city. So, there's that. One thing that you will see that can be mimicked in real life is the concept of sound barriers and stuff like that. Not only with these man-made ones, but you can also add trees to go inside of these little areas right here to block off sound going into your city. But I do have that all set up that way. Whether or not it's going to be used, I have no idea. But it's here, and if somebody wants to use it, they absolutely can. I just hope it works as well as I pictured it doing previously. Alrighty, so now that I've gone in and added paths everywhere, I need to go in and also fix our water issue. We're having a little bit of a water availability issue. So I'm going to go in and just going to add another one of these right here. Do that. I think what I want to do is I'm going to go in and add some more entertainment value to Crescent Meadows over here. And since we have unlocked the level 3 city park, I can now go in and add some gazebos, which I wanted to add anyways along areas like this. So we'll put one there, and we'll put one here. We'll grab this big one, and we can put it here. I wonder if that's close enough to connect. Looks like it, yeah. Add another gazebo right here. I think that just leveled up to level 3, didn't it? Oh yeah, for sure. So we have some gazebos added now. And I think we should add some attention to detail over here now. I'm going to add a little path here. Let's go ahead and do the small one. Put one here, and put one here. I got a restroom on the side. Maybe this would have a little cafe. Put a little cafe here. Why not? I think I already have it. I don't have a cafe over here. We can add another cafe right here. That's a nice little addition there. That should reach level 2 fairly quickly. Go ahead and make our parks over here as well. Let me go ahead and upgrade these real quick, because I do want that. Make these paths walkable. Oh shoot. I made a mistake. But how many roads did I go in and update like that? I hope I didn't do a whole lot. Oh, I might have made a mess of a lot of things. It's fine, it's fine. We'll find out. It'll come back to bite me for sure, but we'll just ignore it for now. We can make another park here. In fact, that might just be what we do, is we make a tiny little park or something like that really quick. So I think this is just going to be a little time lapse, as this isn't a crazy important park. It's just meant to help improve value around this area right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and throw us into a little bit of a time lapse, since it'll be kind of the first one of the episode, and I will be right back. I'm gonna bring y'all back in now that we've built the baseline for it, and we will go in and add some more entertainment, essentially. This is a tiny park, so there's not much intensely going on, but we'll add like a little restroom. I think that all parks should have restrooms for sure. Another restroom right here, and yeah, we can go in and add some gazebos as well. Maybe add a little gazebo right here, a gazebo right here. We can throw in some of these smaller ones just around. This might be a place where we'll have parties or stuff like that, you know? So what I've seen in smaller towns is that a lot of the parks will also be centered around historical areas. And so maybe this at some point was some sort of farm, and this park grounds was the initial farm area. And this building right here is the original farmhouse for that farm, and they leave it here to allow visitors and stuff like that to come visit it. Now, it's obviously very dilapidated, but we could design a historical landmark around that concept using this building. Anyways, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, consider subscribing and liking the video. And thank you for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Bye!